Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode 27 of Knockouts and Three Counts. I am your host, Devin McKenzie, here in the studio all by my lonesome.
Only hosting a business by itself.
I'm here in the studio. Well, I got Randy here in the studio. What's up, Randy?
Yo.
And
Producer Randy.
That's me.
This has already started off to a shit show.
It always does. So, like I said, I'm the only one in the studio today, but on the phone we have, let's start off with Mr. Thunder, Tony Thunder.
That's me.
Yes. Go ahead and let everybody know what you got coming up in your social medias.
Yo, if my elbows are
How
healed
the
by
fuck
the
are
grace
your
of
elbows?
God, I'm getting to that. If my elbows are healed by the grace of God this Saturday in Toledo, Ohio, with Northwest Ohio Wrestling, I will be kicking people in the chest again like only I can do. This week has gotten a lot better. I still can't lift 10 pounds, but I can reach my ass to wipe it if I need to be. I can wash my balls this week. So, it's only a matter of time before I'm kicking people in their face again.
Thank you for that
social
update.
medias, you asked?
Yes.
My social medias is Tony Thunder on Facebook, the Tony Thunder on Twitter, Tony_Thunder on Instagram, and I forgot my Snapchat, but I think it's Tony_Thunder on there too. You guess what? You want to rent a wrestling ring? Is it your bar mitzvah? Is it your birthday? Is it Jesus' birthday? Is it Passover? Is it Kwanzaa? Is it Hanukkah? Is it your wife's birthday? Is it your wedding? Is it somebody's funeral? We'll wrestle on graves. We don't care. RentAWrestlingRing.com. We come down there, we'll set the ring up, and we'll drop kick people at your party.
And kick him in the dick.
No, we ain't doing that. That's a disqualification.
Thank you, Mr. Thunder.
Shinsuke Nakamura did.
So
He didn't kick him in the dick, Kyle.
he
But
pushed
you
me.
was there. How did you not know
in
that?
the dick. He hit him in the dick close enough.
No,
Hey.
man, that don't count.
Mr. Collison, you're not in the studio. We'll find out why in a little bit, but why don't you go ahead and throw your social medias out there and anything you got coming up.
We know why.
What up,
He
though?
posted all over the internet. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
What up, though, man? This is the White Kyle, man. This is Kyle Collison, man. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Detroit Knockout, at Detroit NOKOUT. Find me on Facebook at Kyle Collison. And be on the lookout for all of us, man. We got the fights this weekend. Our past guests last week, Adrian and Ramal, will be fighting, as well as Marco and Manib. And another one of our past guests, Josh Buckner, will be on the card. So be on the lookout, April 14th, TXC. It'll be, I think they're starting at 6. There's going to be probably 20 different fights at Burton Manor in Livonia, Michigan.
Yes, sir. We'll be there live and in person broadcasting. Mr. Randy, why don't you go ahead and throw your social medias out there?
Randy.
Yes, sir.
You can follow me on Twitter at Randy Walker and Instagram RandyWalker83.
Alrighty. And I am Devin
Now,
McKenzie.
what's your Instagrams, man?
Are you talking to me or Randy?
I'm talking to you. What's your social media?
Oh, my social medias, man. I'm on Twitter. You can hit me up on Twitter at Devin63. That's DEVINTHE63. Hit me up on Instagram at All Steak No Sizzle. Make sure you check out the Reality Era News page on Facebook. Go ahead
Please
and
explain who pissed in your Cheerios with your Facebook post, since we're talking about social media and shit.
hold on. Let me get my shit in, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Get your shit in.
Hey, you looking for a car? Get you a car. Go to SouthfieldQualityCars.com. When you go on the website, check out the inventory, and when you go in there, make your purchase. Just let them know the reference code 19309. That's 19309.
1939. Just kidding.
Fuck you guys. All right, so real quick, since you brought it
Hey,
up,
man, hold on. Before we get into this, man, I got a question that I've been meaning to ask you since the first time I heard you say your Instagram name or your Twitter name, whatever it is, your social media. Okay.
Go ahead.
Devin the 6'3", is that a shout out to Royce the 5'9"?
That definitely is, man.
Hey, I like that.
I've been a big Royce
Yo,
fan
mute
for
your
years,
shit, man. What is up?
He's in the airport. We'll discuss that in a second. But he wanted to know who pissed in my Cheerios today while I was out on Facebook.
Tiffany Haddish.
I was slandering the name of Tiffany Haddish and Joanne Gaines, I think that's her name, from Fixer Upper. Well, basically, me and my girlfriend were talking. And I let her know I don't like Cardi B. I find her annoying. So we were watching TV, and Tiffany Haddish came on the screen, and she said, "Hey, if you don't like Cardi B, that means you shouldn't like Tiffany Haddish, right?" So I just ran with it. So I started slandering Tiffany Haddish on Facebook, and now people are saying, like, you shouldn't talk about her like that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead, back off. I was joking. It wasn't real. It was all bullshit. Same thing.
That's not commitment at all.
Yo, no, I committed for a little while.
That's not commitment. That's not how you commit.
I did commit
to a rib. That's not how you commit to things. God damn it! I'm done with this. God damn it! I'm hanging up.
Did you hang up for real? Hello? Did he hang up for real?
Hello? Did we just lose? Hello? You there?
Damn, they hung up for real.
I don't know. Yeah, but it looks like the call's still here. Did Skype drop?
I don't know. I'm just gonna keep talking like this.
Sure.
All right.
No, I muted my phone because I was upset.
Oh. Wait, so where the hell is Kyle?
Yeah, man. Where's Sugar Kyle?
I think we lost Sugar Kyle.
Sugar Salty.
Well, I don't know. He might have lost.
Sugar Salty, you there?
Yeah, he might have lost signal. He's in the airport. He actually just got back from WrestleMania. He was down there in New Orleans this past weekend. Hopefully, we'll get him back on the line and we'll talk about that. But
is it New Orleans or New Orleans?
New Orleans, NOLA, New Orleans, however you want to say it.
Okay.
How do you say it, Tony?
I like New Orleans.
Okay. Well, I'll say New Orleans.
You say New Orleans, Charlie?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. We'll talk about all the good stuff that happened at WrestleMania this past weekend when we get Kyle. Well, hopefully we get Kyle back on the line. If not, we'll just freestyle it ourselves.
When we get Sugar Salty, is Pepper in the building yet?
Not yet. We're waiting on Pepper to get here. And yeah. Oh, a little bit of housekeeping. Kev just started a new job, so we're not sure if we're going to have Kev in studio for a while. Until he, figures things out.
Get a little tombstone right there that said R.I.P. Kev on Knockouts and 3 Counts.
He's not dead.
No, don't do that. He's not dead, but he dead to the show.
Well, he'll show up at live appearances and stuff like that. So he's still a part of the show in spirit, I guess.
We gonna have to put like a red X over his face on the logo or something. We got to get a new logo. I never liked that logo to begin with. My nostrils too wide.
Yeah. Anyway. So we're gonna start off the show talking a little bit of UFC.
UFC 223 or whatever. Didn't that shit just happen?
Yeah, that was this weekend. And when I say a little bit, we're only gonna talk about this a little bit because I was very disappointed with what happened this past week. Really, the card isn't.
Wait, let's talk about the biggest thing that happened in UFC this past weekend.
And that's
your boy Conor McGregor that lost his damn marbles.
And that's exactly what I was about to get to, man. Like the actual fight card wasn't even the most important thing. It was your boy Conor McGregor flipping out at the media day.
You know what, man? I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna just say it like this, and I'm gonna say it the best way I can. You can't work a worker. I know a work when I see one. Man, I've never seen a bus window break like that. That shit looked like Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty's head through it.
You think it was sugar glass?
That work, bro. Yes, that shit was as real as, man. I don't want to discredit anything that I do. So
it's probably not a good idea. But
yeah, but I will say this, man. That shit was fake.
Well, let me let the people in who don't know what happened. The UFC 223 was going on this weekend in Brooklyn. Conor McGregor was in town for media day. They were, had the fighters that were on the card. They had people that are going to be fighting on future cards there. Conor McGregor, the biggest star in the company, he was there. And in the loading docks, they had a bus.
Did you just call him the biggest star of the company?
Yeah. Who's a bigger star in the UFC than Conor McGregor?
Anderson Spider Silva? Fuck you mean?
He's not put up pay-per-view numbers like Conor McGregor, but all right.
All right, so we gonna ignore the fact that coked out Bones Jones don't draw when he on the card.
I agree with you. That's why I say Connor's the biggest star. He's really the only one that's still there that draws. Until Brock goes back over there.
Okay, so you technically saying that Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, and John Bone Jones don't count because they technically not there, is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
Okay, I can agree with you there.
Okay.
All right, we here.
All
We
right.
here.
So Conor
Pointing at my eyeballs, we here.
So Conor McGregor, the biggest star in the company, was there, and he had a problem with it. My man Khabib, I can't say his last name. We're just gonna call him Khabib, who was the main event of the show. So they had a bus full of fighters going back to the fighters' hotels, and he decides that he wants to get gangster on the bus. So he's throwing guardrails and dollies, and he breaks one of the windows on the bus.
Fuck the window.
Sugar Cow's back.
Sugar Cow's back.
Yeah, I was trying to find my ride. On the other line.
Well, hey.
Sugar Salty just hung up without telling us
What?
what was going on. At least I admitted to hanging up, even though I didn't do it.
Well, guess who else is here?
I technically didn't hang up. I swapped the line.
Guess who else is here, people?
All in the building.
What's going on, people?
Yes, sir. Mr. Campbell, why don't you go ahead and throw your social medias out there real quick?
Everybody can find me on Facebook at Kyle J. Campbell, Twitter and Instagram at Team Chaos, Kayos.
Yes, sir. All right, well,
Or Alexa Blitzhater 101.
Can't hear a word y'all saying.
Sugar Salty just got you.
You
That's
say
gonna
so.
be your new thing. Like when Sugar Salty say something, like we gonna be like, "Oh, Sugar Salty just got you."
anyway,
Oh, shit.
back to these UFC shit. Yeah, Conor McGregor snapped, and basically Michael Chiesa got hurt. I think Ray Borg got hurt, and Artem Lobov, he was pulled from the fight. So 3 fights got canceled because of Conor McGregor's going crazy.
Did you see what it looked like when they was bleeding? To me, it looked like you got a little blade and cut your forehead. You know what I mean? Like
You know what? I have
know
not seen
what
those
worse
pictures.
blood looks like. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like the way the glass broke was kind of suspicious. The way they was bleeding was kind of suspicious. The whole thing to me was just like super suspicious.
And when I first heard about it, I'm thinking, oh, this is a publicity stunt, just like the whole bottle throwing incident with the Diaz brothers and Conor McGregor before. So I thought, they're just trying to drum up interest for a future fight or whatever. But yeah, when people started getting arrested, I'm like, I don't know. But maybe I'm just thinking maybe they just committed to the role.
You got to make it seem as real as it can be, man.
Hey,
If I had enough money to bail myself out, I'd go to jail for a night too, just for the publicity, for the money, for what's gonna happen afterwards. Hell yeah, put me in jail for a couple hours. I got that bail money coming.
hey, Sugar Cow, did you get to see any of Connor's handiwork, or were you?
Yeah,
already
that
done?
happened. That happened the day I left.
Oh.
I mean, dude, to me, at a certain point with Conor McGregor, like whether it's staged or whether it's not, I mean, at a certain point, dude, there's something to be said for having a character. There's something to be said for, trying to bring hype to yourself. But with the sport of MMA, dude, it already has such a black eye on it and always has, that the more he keeps doing this shit, he's just feeding into the negative connotation that people already have of the sport. And I feel like him doing that is not good for the sport, because all it does is makes people think what a lot of people already think, and that's that it's a no rules fight. So I don't know, man. To me, at a certain point, I get, and I can understand having the back of your teammates and having the back of your friends. But at a certain point, dude, I just feel like you go too far when you're doing that shit, in my opinion.
Mr. Campbell,
Because now you're affecting other people's money too.
In my opinion, I would have to say that the fight this Saturday, I think that nobody really cared about it because NXT was going down, and that shit was hype as fuck, yo. First of all, let me tell you what happened.
Wait.
Adam Cole, right?
Tony. We'll get to that in a little bit.
What happened?
We'll get to that in a little bit. Mr. Campbell, what did you think about Conor McGregor and his shenanigans?
What I heard about it, it just seems really nonsensical. It's like, dude, you're messing up, like you said, you're messing up other people's money.
Right.
Like, it's one thing if it's just you, but you literally cost fans. Like, there are people. I mean, these guys have fans all over the world that were gonna go to this fight.
Right.
Like, you ruin people's destinations. You ruin people's vacations. You're taking money out of the fighters' pockets, and you're now taking people, hardworking people that wanted to make this like a destination trip. You've now ruined that for them.
Right.
Like, you literally cost yourself a lot of fans. I mean, there are most likely fans, people that were fans of all of them. But now, Connor, you've really cost yourself money by costing other people money. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do in any industry where your whole thing is built off of people promoting you, and now you've literally cost yourself. So, I mean, he'll probably eventually come back, but if he's in any type of fight in the next couple months, he's not going to draw like he was.
Right.
Coming off of what he was, he is not going to draw.
Unless Mayweather involved.
Yeah.
And not only is he costing them money, bro, you're costing the people you work for money.
Yeah, because Lobov is one of his guys. He got pulled from his fight because he was involved in that whole melee as well. So you're hurting your own teammates. Basically, not the co-main, one of the main fights on the main event, that got pulled because of that. And then we'll jump into the main event too, man. This whole
He
card.
just saved Lobov an ass whooping.
What's that? What'd you say, Kyle?
I said he saved Lobov an ass whooping
Why you say that?
because Lobov sucks. Plain and simple. Watch the guy's fights. The only thing he's good for is he'll get in there and fight. His win-loss record sucks balls.
Hey, as the great Herm Edwards says, your best ability is availability. But let's talk about the main event, man. This fight changed 5 times in like 6 days. So originally it was supposed to be Tony Ferguson. He got hurt in like one of the craziest ways ever. He was in the Fox studios and he tripped over a cord and tore his ACL. So he was pulled from the fight.
That shit's a work.
We'll see. But this is the 4th time they've tried to put that fight together, and it still hasn't happened. So Max Holloway steps in, says, all right, I'll take the fight. All right, cool. We got the 145 champion fighting for the 155 championship. Great moment, right? So he doesn't make – well, no, he gets medically disqualified because of his weight cut. So he doesn't fight. So then later on we hear Anthony Pettis is going to be fighting. Anthony Pettis doesn't make weight. Then we hear Al Iaquinta is going to fight. And then we hear he's not in the fight because he missed weight, but then they still gave him the fight anyway. So at this point, honestly, I didn't care about this fight anymore. Like, you can't keep changing this fight, you know.
Once Holloway was out, I didn't care.
I agree too. Like, once Holloway was out, I really didn't care. And it's like, the only fight.
Al Iaquinta is a dog, though.
He is, but honestly, I didn't even watch the fight, man. I didn't. When we was at Buffalo Wild Wings, I watched a little bit of Rose and Joanna. After that, I went home, man, because I really didn't care at that point anymore.
So you just took the picture and then with the guys, and then that's when you went home.
Pretty much, yeah. So did any of you guys watch the fight?
You know, I don't watch this shit. I don't have enough time to get into this.
I'll tell you what fight I was
got
watching.
into.
I was watching this 6-man
Never mind.
ladder match fight, and it was 4.
Hey, Tony.
North America.
Hey, Tony.
What's up?
We're going to get to that in a little bit, man. Hold your horses, man.
Oh, all
Kyle,
right, I'm good.
Kyle, did you check out the fights, man?
I didn't get to see any of it.
All right, well, that was UFC 223. Let's move the fuck.
That's like a mobility device from
Hey, in my
2003.
defense, I was a
Segway.
little preoccupied.
Oh, prostitute in New Orleans? Good job, man. Proud of you.
Hey, how many beads did you get for that?
Oh, them
How,
Jerry bees.
how many bees was a reach around, man? Just let us all know. You're in the friend zone, man. Let everybody know.
I don't know. You were giving them out.
Oh.
Oh, good.
How do you know he was giving them out?
Oh.
Burn. All right. Well, let's wrap this up.
Salty and pepper, Kyle.
Let's
Okay, go ahead.
wrap this UFC talk up real quick because honestly, I really don't have much to say about it. Rose versus Joanna was good from what I did see. Rose retains her title, so she basically legitimized her victory from was it 4 or 5 months ago? Kyle, any thoughts? White Kyle?
Sugar salty.
Sugar.
Sugar Salty not there? Yo, Randy, that email hit.
What?
That email hit.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I guess we lost count.
That's what happens when you lose on The Price is Right, for those who don't know. When you lose on The Price is Right, it goes do 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 do.
That sounds like Chef Boyardee.
It did.
But all right, let's move over from the UFC.
My granny watched that shit every day.
That's a stereotype.
Shout out to Granny Thunder for being at Bailey's this weekend
Shout out to
and
Granny
watching.
Thunder.
What happened?
Yeah, shout out to Granny Thunder.
Granny Thunder was in the building, y'all.
All right, we'll get into that, man. But let's talk about WrestleMania weekend, man. First, did any of you guys?
It's time.
Did any of you guys?
WrestleMania. We love it.
Bump it up, bump it up.
Did any of you guys watch the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I watched it.
I did.
The thing is, and I've done this the last like 3 years. There's some shows, even not even counting the Hall of Fame. There's just some shows you can't watch live because it just drags on.
I heard Hillbilly Jim went 30-something minutes.
I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't watch 1 second of his shit. I'm sorry, Hillbilly Jim.
We can
You have
tell
your
who
fans.
here doesn't watch shoot interviews.
You know, so I don't. Can I speak? Thank you. I didn't watch that.
Okay, go on.
Mark Henry's stuff
Get your
was
shit in.
good, but it went a little long. Everybody's went a little long. But Mark Henry's was good mainly because he couldn't top the first Hall of Fame speech. So all you could do is hope to, have at least moderately good speech. But it was a really good speech. I'm still confused if he's gonna come back now because the last couple things he said, he kind of made it like he wasn't done.
Really?
Yeah, the way he kind of phrased, I'm like, so are you done? Are you gonna be a wrestling Hall of Famer? But it was good. Goldberg's, it was good. He went through literally his entire life, from when he was like a kid talking about his parents. Then he was in college. I'm like, dude, you really giving us everything we saw in the documentary. But okay. Jarrett's stuff was good. I actually am surprised we didn't see any stuff from TNA. Like, and even just footage of like him hitting somebody. Like they've had Dixie on there. They've had a reference last night,
Right.
and this is literally the guy that pretty much could have like got some clout to say, hey, I want some of my footage to be shown here. I know I'm in the WWE Hall of Fame, but this is something I can make a mention to or a photo. It was kind of almost awkward, like angles, because the best stuff they did wasn't in the WWF. Jeff Jarrett's best stuff probably, I would say, would probably be in TNA. He had a great run, but I would say that. Angle, he was in TNA longer than he was in WWE. So it's like you can't use that
Nobody
stuff.
remembers him in TNA.
So it was fun, but it was a good. I know we're gonna get to everything, but in total, I would say this was probably one of my favorite entire weekends. From the Hall of Fame being entertaining, having a good amount of people that really I cared about.
Right.
NXT doing what they normally do, stealing the show, and a damn good WrestleMania. Okay. So I think it was pretty good. Hall of Fame was pretty good.
Mr. Thunder, what did you think about the Hall of Fame, man?
Man, I'm a fan of old timers telling stories, man. I like WWE story time. I watch shoot interviews sometimes, whatever they call it, and even from Hillbilly Jim, if people thought it was boring, I wouldn't say that. He did his thing. I think out of all of the, I guess you would call them stories or inductions, I think the little kid JJ stole the night, man. He definitely was one to watch. He was hilarious. He had good things to say. He had funny things to say, and it was very heartwarming and funny and touching for the things he had to say. I, for one, definitely disagree with Pepper Cow on a lot of things, and Jeff Jarrett being one of them. When you think of Jeff Jarrett and you think of his quotes and you think of his phrases and his matches, you don't think of TNA. When you think of Ain't I Great, when you think of Kiss My Grits, when you think of JEFF, JARR, Double T. When you think of Don't Piss Me Off, when you think of Slap Nuts, you don't think that none of that happened in TNA. None of that happened in TNA. Just want to put that out there for the record. All right.
Hey Tony.
It looked like
Hey, Tony, I think you forgot something.
Let me get my shit in. Can I get my shit in?
But I think you forgot something, man.
No, go ahead.
Spending my days working hard on the go, keeping the hands on the clock.
Put the hands on the clock, keep it spinning too slow. And I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight. That's got to break it down like Road Dogg did. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, man, like none of that shit happened in TNA. You know what I'm saying? So that's just that. All right. On the other hand, I find it odd that like 60% of the crowd left before Goldberg could finish his speech. That was kind of weird. With him being the main attraction and all. And out of everybody, I noticed that Pepper Cow didn't mention one of the best moments of the night when the Dudley Boys caught up Edge, Christian, and the Hardys for their moment. I think that was probably the moment.
I didn't want to be long-winded in the way I talked and want to let other people bring stuff up, you know.
Is that somebody calling for like the next flight to come or something, or like?
I think that's Sugar Kyle at the
Like
airport.
somebody watching the news in the background. Sugar Kyle, put your shit on mute until you talk or something. Shit.
If only everybody had that same practice.
Hey Tony, I got your
You're
one.
salty.
I got your one picture up, but I didn't get the other picture we talked about.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll leave that alone.
Hey, that sounds like a conversation you used to be having in DMs or something. I'm just saying.
Mr. Collison, did you catch any of the Hall of Fame, man?
I watched the Dudleys. I got to catch the Dudleys because I watched. I started to watch the Hall of Fame after I got back from Impact vs. Lucha Underground, but I only really saw the Dudleys inductions.
Okay. Well, so what did you guys think about? Well, Tony and Kyle pretty much said their thoughts, but Mr. Collison, what did you think about this class as a whole?
I'm a big fan of the Dudleys. I'm not super mad at Jeff Jarrett going either, but it wasn't my favorite class. I think Ivory has every right to be in the Hall of Fame too, especially with her contributions to Glow and all that stuff too. But if I had to compare this class as opposed to, like the last couple of years, I didn't go to the Hall of Fame because I wasn't that hyped up on this class. If it were the class that they had last year, I would have went to that instead of going to Impact vs. Lucha Underground. But it wasn't my favorite class of all time.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it. I'll probably go back. I'll probably go back and watch the Dudley Boys because I was a huge Dudley Boys fan. But
I got to meet Bubba while I was down there. He's a cool dude.
We're gonna be using that bill a lot today. But yeah, I was a big fan of the Dudley Boys. Probably my favorite tag team of all time. So I'll go back and watch their speech, man. But yeah, like
the greatest tag team of all time, not even in the Hall of Fame yet.
And who's that, sir?
Oh shit.
The Steiners. Look, I'm going to just say this. When it comes to the reinvention of the Doomsday device, the Steiners invented that. The Hurricanrana, you can thank Scott Steiner for inventing that. When it comes to tag team chemistry, like, everything that makes a tag team a great tag team is the Steiner brothers. Like, that's all I'm going to say. I love the Steiners. I don't think they're the greatest of all time, even though I just said that.
I was about to say, we got continuity errors.
I think the Steiners should go in the Hall of Fame, too, personally.
They're never going to go. Scott Steiner, he's never going to sign on for that.
They'll go. If they do go, it'll probably be post-mortem, but,
they're doing that, but they're not making. That's not a lot of those are making them on the show. We haven't had a lot of post-mortem ones that have been on the show. Like if it's somebody, they'll have them like passing, but you don't really see. You haven't seen that in a while. Like I think the next one that would be
Big
that.
Boss Man was that last year, the year before. They had Macho.
I think Macho's you had to have him. Well, he should have been in
right
years before that.
There's a lot of post-mortem that's inductions that could happen. You got Bam Bam Bigelow, you got Owen Hart, you got
Bam
British
Bam should have
Bulldog,
been
you
in
got-
at least 4 or 5 years ago. Bam Bam should have been in. That one's starting to look like the guy literally headlined a WrestleMania, and he hasn't made it. I mean, you have William Shatner in there. Granted, it's the shitty celebrity ring, but you have people that Coco Beware made it in before Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, that's gonna be my question. Like, who do you think should go in there next year or in the near future?
Headline: Owen Hart.
Owen for sure.
Owen,
if Martha
man.
lets that happen.
Right.
And it's like, what do you? It wasn't their. It was their fault, but it wasn't their fault. And
I heard Mark Henry did say something to Martha during his speech.
he said it kind of almost got a little awkward because he did a great story about how he was friends with Owen and how Owen and the Hart family helped him when he was almost on the ropes. But sorry, the voice of God is saying something to us. But the fact that it's been so long, and I've heard rumors that the other Hart family members have said something to her.
Right.
Like I've heard Brett has said, like, look, it's
she
it's
made
time.
she actually made a kind of like a reply about that earlier this year, and she said something about, you know, she didn't want him in there because she don't want people to just know that he was a good wrestler. She want people to know that he was a great human being outside of wrestling, and wrestling is the last thing that she want people to think about when they think of Owen. They want him to think about his heart first and how good he was of a person and all that. But like, I'm thinking, like, what better way of showing the people how great he was of a person than putting him in the fucking Hall of Fame?
I mean, there are some younger fans who, I know you have the network now, but they don't know how good Owen was. Like, it was a time, Owen was my favorite Hart.
Ironically, with us talking about Owen Hart, dude, I just watched I was watching Over the Edge, the event where he died, just actually last week before we did our show, and I was watching the Raw after he died, and like, if you listen to a lot of the superstars talk, man, they were just talking about how great of a guy he was, and I never have quite understood why his wife wouldn't want him in the Hall of Fame. If anything, man, I just think that maybe she might still have a grudge because he died from wrestling, but I don't know because I don't know her personally.
Yeah, that's what it seems like now, because it's like it's almost what, 20 years or going on 20 years.
Yeah, it's probably I think it's 20 years.
If it hasn't been, it's going on 20 years. It's like everybody that is
over
in the
age
industry,
99.
yeah, everybody that said something about him in the business has nothing but great things to say about him.
Right.
I mean, usually the first two things you hear is how great of a heart he had, and what a great practical joker he was.
Exactly.
And, you know, I mean, just imagine you could do an entire story time just on guys lining up to tell Owen stories. You know, I mean, it's Jeff Jarrett even did like 3 or 4 Owen ribs. You know, I mean, and so one of them had a great punchline to the joke with Edge and Christian. So it's like the guy is still beloved. He's still talked about. It's like, get it out there for the people who don't know. Educate the younger fans who need to learn how great of a wrestler and a person Owen Hart was. It's like, it's time.
That was what I was about to say. You mentioned those two things, man. But as far as his in-ring work, man, anyone you ever listen to talk about him, they all talk about how he was such a great wrestler and never really got, not the shine that he deserved, but he never really got like the real like world title program, you know, but he did about everything else you could do.
Man, Owen Hart had one of the best matches at WrestleMania 10. The only problem is no one remembers it because Shawn Michaels and Razor had a great ladder match, but that match between Brett and Owen was amazing.
That's probably the best opening match ever.
Right.
I mean, when I think of great main events, I think of a couple. When I think of great opening matches, it's pretty much the first one I think of.
Right. Anybody else you guys think need to be in the Hall of Fame?
I'll just name like 10. All right, so first we got your boy Owen Hart for sure.
Right.
We got your boy the British Bulldog. We got Brian Pillman. We got Bam Bam Bigelow. We got the Steiner brothers. We got Cyndi Lauper on the celebrity wing.
That's
Aretha.
overdue. That's really weird how they haven't had Cyndi Lauper. It's like she really had a hand in making you guys as successful. I mean, the Rock and wrestling connection.
Right.
She's the Rock in that. Like,
No, the fuck
like,
she's not. What the
like
fuck?
she like her exposure to Lou Albano and her videos. I mean, like she was
MTV.
I mean, like especially like that. I mean, that's what helped getting them on MTV. One of the biggest, I think, still in like top 10 biggest ratings MTV ever got. I mean, like it's weird that you have all these other celebrities who barely even had anything to do with the company, and somebody that is as prolific as her, you don't have her in.
Sir. Have you ever heard of a woman named Aretha Franklin?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan. The name rings a bell.
Okay. Have you ever heard of a song called Bad Street USA?
I'm familiar with Aretha's catalog. Where is this going?
Yeah. That had nothing. Bad Street USA ain't got nothing to do with Aretha's catalog. See, you're flipping. Bad Street USA was the Fabulous Freebirds theme, and that was the first song that was a theme song used by an popular artist. And that's a little wrestling history for y'all. The first actual theme song from a popular artist in professional wrestling was the Fabulous Freebirds with Bad Street USA.
I remember
so if
that.
you got to give rock and wrestling credit, it's got to be the Freebirds and that song.
I was letting you go because I was thinking the same thing as far as Michael Hayes went, because you hear that a lot. I was a big fan of the World Class Championship.
Wait, the Freebirds are in?
So
I got confused where that
Yeah,
was
the Freebirds
going.
are in it.
Oh.
Yeah, Freebirds are in. They went in.
Okay.
I thought you was saying the Freebirds weren't in there. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
No. I was just saying when you're talking about the whole rock thing and using rock entrances, I was just going to say that they, a lot of that is all originated from, the Freebirds. That's all.
Well, no, he was just saying that the show, the Rockin' Wrestling Connection
from the 80s that really got spearheaded the boom of the WWF in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper was a part of that, and she still isn't a celebrity.
She definitely needs to go. She definitely needs to get in.
Who you got, Kyle?
Your boy Bruce Brody not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I would like. Yeah, he should go in too.
Great
right now,
Muta should be in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know if he'll get in there.
Demolition. Is JBL in the Hall of Fame?
No,
he
not
needs
yet.
to be, though.
Eventually, yeah.
Kyle, why don't you go ahead and name some of your peoples?
I bet the Blue Meanie inducts JBL.
Go ahead.
Big Show going next year.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Big Show definitely needs to go, especially with the Giant thing and all that stuff. The more, I'd have to give it some more thought, but Tony named a lot of the ones that I thought of. I would love to see the Steiners go in, and I've been saying that for a while. I think Cyndi Lauper is a very good pick as to who goes in. There's a lot of people that they can have go in. I think I want to see China go in, to be quite honest.
I agree.
And I want to see China go in. I know there's a lot of controversy because of porn and all that stuff. But if we're talking about pure contribution to the business and stuff, back in that 99 to 2001 range, dude, China was like the head woman pretty much,
Right.
I know.
I think we would all love to see China in the Hall of Fame. I just don't see it happening.
You know what I think would be a good one?
Happen.
Molly Holly.
But I do think.
I agree.
I know
Wait,
she's been around and long enough.
Is
you've
the
had a lot of people
Honky
saying
Tonk
so.
Man in the Hall of Fame?
I believe so.
I think he is, but he might not be.
He might not. If it was at
Honky
least
Tonk Man.
7, 8
I
years,
have to
years
double
ago
check
if
that.
he
If
was.
Honky Tonk Man not in the Hall of Fame, they better fucking not ever call Miz the greatest intercontinental champion in the history of motherfucking again until that motherfucker get put in the Hall of Fame.
Honky Tonk's not in there. I'm almost certain.
That's fucked up.
No, he's not.
Your boy Tatanka.
I got one on the celebrity side that I think is like the most obvious one. How is Lemmy from Motorhead not in the Hall of Fame? How is Motorhead not in there, man?
I expected
I think
that
he'll
the
be
year
in
he
there
died.
next year.
The year he died, I expected Triple H to just do a
Right.
big thing for him. Have you ever seen the video of him at his funeral, the eulogy he gave him? Oh, it's hilarious. It's if you look it up on YouTube, it's like a 10-minute video, but it's Triple H at Lemmy's funeral, and he went up and spoke, and they were really close, but the story he tells and the way Triple H tells it, it literally had the entire funeral parlor just cracking up. Everybody was in stitches, and I'm like, when he goes in, when Motorhead goes in, Triple H has to be the one that does it.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right, guys.
Oh, no, wait. I'm not done naming people who should be in the Hall of Fame yet.
All right, go ahead and name a few more.
Vader. Where the fuck is Vader? Before he died, he's been claiming that he's about to die for years. He was like, please, WWE, put me in the Hall of Fame before I die. And he's been claiming that he's about to die for like the last 3 years. We know he had the longest fucking Hall of Fame speech in history. If you watch his Table for Three with Sting and fucking who else he had a Table for Three with, that shit was forever because he don't know how to shut the fuck up. Much like me when I'm talking about who should go in the Hall of Fame. Your boy Kane.
It's not funny when you take other people's
coming up.
punchlines.
Kane definitely needs to go in. But do you think they'll save him? Do you think they'll save him until
he officially retires?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he just pops up in Battle Royals. He just pops up on Raw out of nowhere.
Yeah. All right.
Sure, obviously.
Shout out to the Pyro too from WrestleMania. Shout out to Pyro being back.
Yes, sir.
Because some people's entrances are just weird without it. Like
Brock,
Brock,
work's not taken away from the wrestlers no more.
Brock just looks weird doing that whole thrust and no fireworks. It just looks like, dude, are you doing the Urkel or something? You just thrusting your you doing the Bartman or something? Like, dude, like it just. And AJ's it just needs it.
I agree. All right, Mr. Collison.
I wasn't done naming people for the Hall of Fame. Your boy Jim Cornette need to be in the Hall. Okay,
we got to move on.
Completely with that.
Mr.
Express too.
Mr. Collison, you literally just got back from New Orleans, man.
Where his arms tired.
And you went to. We're not going to talk about NXT and WrestleMania right now. I want to find out about all the other stuff that you did while you were down there, like the Lucha Underground show, some of the appearances you went to, WrestleCon, Access. Tell us about all that stuff, man.
Get the bell.
Well, I got there Friday morning. I went to Access Friday in the afternoon. I was at the VIP signing for Shinsuke, and then while I was there, he was a cool guy. I mean, obviously didn't speak much English, but he was cool.
No
I met
speaking
Ruby
English.
I met Ruby Riott while I was there.
How's she looking person?
Drew McIntyre. She's hot.
Because on TV,
in my opinion. But she was hot. I met Drew McIntyre. I met Pete Dunne. I met. I would have met Gargano and Ciampa, or not Gargano. Yeah, I could have met both of them because I didn't find out till later. Which I was telling you guys in the group text before we got on the show. I didn't realize that because I had the VIP thing that you were able to like walk through this special line. If I knew that, I would have gotten to meet a whole lot more of them.
Shit, I would have did it if I wouldn't VIP. Shit, money I paid.
I did. What?
I say shit. Even if you didn't have VIP, all the money you paid, shit, you better been walking around that place like you owned it. Shit, you might as well bought stock in WWE.
But yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. We get into that later, but yeah, Access was really cool. I have to say that 2 times I've been, I'm a fan of the way that WWE puts that together. And I also got to sit behind the commentator desk. I missed out on calling a match. That's definitely something I want to hit if I get down there for another one. But they also had the live matches there. Lacey Evans and Toni Storm were going while I was there. They also had Lince Dorado versus, I want to say, Raul Mendoza. Sanity faced Street Profits, and I was surprised to see them lose. From there, I went right from there, literally 5 or 10 minutes down the street to Lucha Underground Impact show, which in my opinion was a really good show. But the crowd was all hot because, as I'm sure you guys know at this point, Del Rio no-showed, and the whole crowd was pissed off about it, and they fired him on the spot.
Such a dick.
And it turned into the main event being Pentagon versus Phoenix versus Austin Aries.
Okay. Any other good matches from that show?
They had a 6-man. It was Aerostar, King Cuerno, and who was their partner? Drago versus what the fuck's his name? Not Trevor Lee, but the guy he was teamed up with for him, DJZ, and Desmond Xavier. That was a good match.
Shout out to
They also
Aerostar,
had
too.
Eli Drake.
That was a great van.
They had Eli Drake versus Cage, and then they had Sami Callihan or Jeremiah Crane this time versus Eddie Edwards in a I Quit match.
Awesome.
Which I really liked the finish of that match because what they did was obviously everybody knows that there's all the buzz around the whole bat thing, and so at the end of the match, Sammy sets him up to do the bat spot again, and Cyrus runs out and throws a towel and stops the match.
Throw the damn towel.
Man.
So yeah, I like that. And you said you don't want to talk about NXT and Mania yet. On Saturday morning, I went to WrestleCon and I met Stone Cold again, which was cool for me because he was the guy that got me into wrestling in the first place. And then, so I met Stone Cold, and then while I was in there, I met the Rock and Roll Express, Bubba Dudley, Jerry the King Lawler, and Badass Billy Gunn. And I think that was it while I was at WrestleCon.
That's a lot of fucking shots right there. I just wanted to say.
You know what?
If
we make this into a
listening
drinking
and playing
game,
along,
we'll
you're
be
probably dead now, or at least your liver is.
we can't have a drinking
the
game
views
to
and opinions
this.
expressed by what's going on now. It's not necessarily those of Tony Thunder. Actually, it is the views and opinions of Tony Thunder, but it's not necessarily those of Podcast Detroit and Knockouts and Three Counts. I also wanted to know what the fuck. All right, we back. Go ahead, keep going. We got some more bills to ring.
I went other than that, I went and worked out with Seth Rollins,
CrossFit
Josh
Jesus.
Gagos
Give me
at,
another bell for CrossFit Jesus.
CrossFit Noah
There you go.
Saturday. So
Oh, nice. I heard that TNA was hiring.
They're in the area, probably scout.
Hey, so Sunday, man. That was your Friday and Saturday. What did you do Sunday, man?
Did you see any interesting shows?
hang on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Well, goddamn. All right. I guess we're on hold. Randy, do we have any good hold music?
I'm sorry about that. But, sorry about that. But yeah, Sunday morning.
Okay,
I
there we
went
go. Okay, we're back.
Shout out to Chair Shot Reality. I went to their pre-party. You want yours? I went to their pre.
Kyle?
Go ahead, Kyle. Don't let nothing stop you.
And we've lost Kyle.
So he went to the Chair Shot Reality pre-party where he met Mr. Anderson. I think
Who?
Mr. Kennedy.
Wait.
Fuck all y'all. I couldn't hear what you were saying, but I know you were talking shit.
Kennedy.
I went to Chair Shot Reality's pre-party, and they had Tommy Dreamer, Noel Foley, and Mr. Anderson there.
Mr. Who?
Who?
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Kennedy.
Who?
Kennedy.
If you're going to say it, you're going to say it right. Put some respect on his name.
Damn, Skippy. It's Michael Buffer's son and Vince McMahon's son.
I don't get any of these jokes.
What else is new?
Poor Randy.
Randy said 2 hours of this shit. God damn it.
Gotta listen about
God
these
damn
people. Who are these people? I know The Rock. That's all I know.
Man. After the pre-party, what you do after that, man?
I was down at Mania. From there, I went straight to Mania because their party was from 1 to 3, and Mania you had to be there at like 4:30.
Jesus. God, man. Kyle,
Yeah, bring a Gatorade bottle.
question for you, man. And not necessarily talking about the matches, but just in general. What is it like sitting at WrestleMania for like 7 hours, dog?
It's really not as bad as you think, dude. Like, I mean, the atmosphere in there is so hyped, dude, that I enjoyed it. Both of the last 2 years, it didn't bother me. There's a lot of people that said that it bugged them being there that long. Only thing that surprised me different about this year is I'm really surprised they didn't. They like last year they had an intermission at one point where they had Pitbull perform. I figured it was going to be Kid Rock performing at some point, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, that fucker didn't even show up.
I'm all right with that.
But the one thing that I will say with sitting there that long is there's always got to be those assholes that ruin it for everybody else. Because, like, I was sitting, you guys wouldn't have seen this on TV, but there's a guy during the Shinsuke at Nakamura, Shinsuke at Nakamura.
I'm like, damn, he's splitting two? Nega Shinsuke?
And AJ, that the guy, like, I don't know if they started fighting or he did something, and they threw him out.
I meant to text you about that because I saw that on the match that it was everybody. You could see him on the hard camera. You could see them just start looking over
right behind me.
Yeah, I meant to text you see what was going on because I noticed it. I even rewound it because I'm like everybody started turning around. I thought Taker was about to come out again or something. It looked weird.
Man.
Yeah, like everybody turned around and it kind of fucked up the match because everybody's looking at that and so it kind of screwed some things up. And like the same with like the Brock match, like it became to the point where everybody was like looking for all the beach balls to the point where it was hard to even see or really keep up with what was going on.
Yeah,
like I mean, I get it, dude. I love the fan interaction. I think it's cool. It makes for a cool atmosphere. But to me, man, I feel like you need to, I mean, be respectful, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I get it if you don't like the match, but if you don't like the match, man, leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it made it hard to watch for someone else.
So next time you don't like a match, are you going to leave?
I didn't do all that shit and wasn't focused on the damn beach ball, though. I wasn't bitching about it.
I think beach balls should be for, like, the Raw after Mania, not actually Mania. I mean,
like, they were all over
spectacle.
Like,
and the other things that you're talking about atmosphere, it was kind of funny because obviously I know you guys saw it, but Cena was running all through the crowd. He ran right through where we were at a couple times.
What does he smell like?
Because they had
Tony
him
wants
running
to
around
know.
the crowd at different spots during the show and shit.
Tell Tony, does he glisten in person? What does he smell like? I imagine it's
John Cena's the greatest wrestler of all time.
I imagine he smells like Pabst
He came in and was
Blue
working out when we were in
Axe
there with Seth
and
Rollins. That
sparkles.
motherfucker was throwing around some crazy ass weight.
Does he smell like unicorn tears?
Mr. Randy, how much time do we have before we go to break, sir?
First of all, how the fuck did you see John Cena?
You interrupted the voice.
He was
of
in the
God.
gym.
We can go to break whenever you want.
Okay. Hey guys, let's take a quick break, and then we'll actually jump into like the actual card with the meat and potatoes of this here show.
The Joey Harrington?
Don't you ever bring up that motherfucker's name in this building. Ever. I'm sorry.
He's not a meat and potatoes guy.
I'm sorry.
Every time I hear that, I think of that.
I went to a dark place. I'm sorry. Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to start breaking down NXT and WrestleMania.
It's wrestle.
On in the breaks, man.
Man, I'm gonna say something on the Facebook live feed. The way that they have Tony's photo scared the shit out of me. I thought this motherfucker was like a poltergeist or something in the room. He's like leaning back in the chair. I'm like, motherfucker ain't sitting by the side of me like poltergeist or something.
Man,
That's me.
all right. We are back, people, and we are getting ready to break down a little bit of this here NXT.
NXS?
Huh?
NXS?
Damn, we ain't do that yet?
Nah, we ain't broke down none of the shit yet. We was talking about all the outside shit, man. But yeah, let's
Damn, man.
let's go ahead and
All that time wasted.
let's break down this show, man. First of all, Tony, you were so excited to go ahead and talk about this match, man. Why don't you go ahead and break down the first match tonight, the ladder match, man?
Man, let me tell you something about this here ladder match, right? I'm going to tell you like this, man. When it comes to 6 men in the ladder match, with Money in the Bank coming up, that match going to be hard to top, man. They was doing shit. Bodies was flying. There was ass and ball juice everywhere.
Whoa, this took a turn for the worse.
But, you know, I just wanted to mention that I was the only one to say it, and I knew it was going to happen, but the winner of the match in the first champ, and I couldn't think of anybody who deserved it more, was none other than Adam Cole, baby!
Baby.
But I think the performance of the night in that match would probably have to go to none other than Adam Cole.
Baby.
That's all you want.
You know what? I'm gonna go next because since Kyle was there, we'll let him go last. To me, the MVP of that entire match,
not me.
huh?
You said it, not me.
That's true. But to me, the MVP of this match, EC3, man. EC3 took some of the craziest bumps in that match, man. Like he
did good.
That spot where Killian Dane.
Dilly.
What?
Dilly. He had him under.
Wait. You said that what?
That spot?
What's a spot?
The sequence in the match when
Fuck that. We use insider terms on this fucking show. That's how we always been. That's how I always will be.
The sequence in the match where Killian Dane put the ladder on top of him, did a splash, and then he went to the top to do a Vader bomb. Adam Cole jumped on Dane's back and then did the Vader bomb with Adam Cole on his back. I'm like, they just killed EC3, man.
Yeah, on his first match. Well, you know what? That may have been a little bit like, welcome.
And I think Ricochet did a great job too, man. That spot, that sequence when he did the backflip off of the ladder, I thought it was great too, man.
No.
Mr. Campbell.
That's gonna be hard to top, man. Like like you said, as far as ladder matches go, this just stacked the bar. No pun intended. I'm mad I lost that one, but I'm not really that mad because Adam Cole, baby, is. I mean, he's on fire, and this means they're gonna put a rocket ship to his back now. I mean, everything about that match was right. I mean, I was worried that after the match, I'm like, okay, I hope they really didn't put the best match on first, because I was surprised to see the ladder match on first. But this just goes to prove why NXT is really kind of the better brand putting on pay-per-views, because that's your first match. That would have been the best match of pretty much any regular Raw or SmackDown or joint pay-per-view, and that's what they put on first. That was a great start to the pay-per-view.
All right, Mr. Collison, your thoughts. By the way, you were there.
Ding. I think he's eating his food.
Just for the record, I didn't say it. He did. Anyways, that match was insane, dude. And that crowd was fucking off the chain for that stuff. And me and the people that were sitting around us were all sitting there like, damn, dude, like, this match is still going on. Because I thought, obviously, a ladder match is going to go for a while, but we're all just like, damn, this is going for a while. And they've got so much left to go. So, dude, that match had us all on the edge of our seat. And with the 2 ladder spots in between the ring, dude, that shit was insane. I enjoyed that match. I'm not mad at all that Adam Cole won. I didn't pick Adam Cole.
Baby.
But Ricochet, I think, definitely made a great showing for himself in the beginning, too. Especially with, when his entrance went off, dude, that place went fucking apeshit.
The song is great.
So, I like, dude, I have nothing bad I can say about it. That match had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. And again, I'm not mad that Adam Cole won. I was surprised a little bit, but I was surprised.
Y'all really thought they was gonna get that shit to motherfucking Ricochet already? Like his first official match in NXT, y'all thought they was gonna get that motherfucker the title? Are y'all serious? Like y'all really thought that?
Stranger things have happened.
I didn't think they were gonna give it to Adam Cole.
Baby.
But
y'all really thought they was gonna get that to Ricochet. I'm just that baffles me. That's it.
I think of all the people that needed it, it was Ricochet needed it the most because nobody really knows who he is, and he doesn't necessarily have the greatest personality. So putting a title on him would kind of legitimize him. Like EC3, he's got the charisma.
That makes no sense.
So, look, sometimes the guy makes the title. Sometimes the title makes the man. EC3 has the
Put that
charisma.
shit on a shirt.
Yes, sir.
That.
EC3 has the charisma. So does Velveteen Dream. Killian Dane and Lars are just big some bitches. And Adam Cole, he's a made man already. The only person in there that really he has a little bit of trouble on the microphone, he's not the most well known, is Ricochet. So put the title on him to, hey,
Prince Puma forever.
Put the title on him to say, hey, he's legit. That was my thinking.
I'm not understanding that.
You know, now we technically could have a Prince Puma versus El Generico match one day.
We could. But, all right, let's move on. Next match. Women's Championship match. Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon. Who wants to take this one first?
Kyle, you go ahead, man, because you was the only one who said Shayna would win besides me, so you go for it.
I picked Shayna.
I like them. I really like them.
Devin, you said Shayna would win, didn't you, Devin?
I did.
You just Charlie Brown your ass with the football.
My bad.
I really enjoyed the match, and I liked how they played off the fact that, you know, you could see that Ember had had learned from the past match and was like really trying to fight the arm when Shayna was trying to choke her. And I liked how Shayna, used her own hair to be able to hold onto that choke, only having one arm. So that, to me, I really liked it. I liked the match. I liked that, I like that they've let Shayna really stick to the MMA background, because sometimes I feel like they make some of those guys get away from it a little bit. I mean, it was different with Brock because Brock started wrestling and then, went to MMA. But Shayna being someone that came in from MMA.
Did you just credit Brock for MMA and wrestling?
No, but I'm saying he switched from wrestling to MMA, so it was a different transition. What I'm saying is her coming in from MMA, I like that they haven't tried to.
Didn't Bobby Lashley do it first?
He didn't mean
No,
first.
he
He's
didn't
just
fight
saying
MMA
styles.
first.
He's just talking about
He
the style.
did.
No, he
didn't.
Bobby
He
wrestled
did
first,
regular
then with the MMA.
No. When was Bobby Lashley's first fight?
His first
After
fight
his
was
first
after he
wrestling
left
match.
WWE.
Dead air.
His
So,
first fight was after he left WWE.
how about her not selling that elbow, that shoulder after that? That I saw you comment on the video on WWE's page. I'm like, that bothers me. Like the whole match is about your arm, and then you get the title, and you're just flailing that motherfucker around. I'm like, Stephanie McMahon sold it longer.
Hey, and Tony, for the wrestler on the show, man, I don't know if you caught that, but after the show, they did like a little, minute long, videos where I'm glad to be the NXT champion, But like she was holding the belt with her right hand, her left shoulder, which was supposed to have been destroyed in that match. She's sitting there just flailing around. I'm like, how are you not selling that shoulder right now?
I saw a lot of people in the comments say that shit too. Like,
Well, I just want to say, I don't know what selling is.
Okay.
I don't know where you guys been hearing these terms.
So if you can't use the term, what the hell he's on the show for? The hell, shit. Somebody got the rest on the show. Shit.
What happened?
Like,
what is selling? I mean, let me ask you this. If somebody in the UFC you know what I mean, got their shoulder ripped out. Are you supposed to show your weaknesses and show that your shoulder just got ripped out, or you go try to sit there and tough it out? I'm just asking, you know.
Wait, after
like
the match,
in real
though?
life,
After the
in
whole
real
point
life,
of the
no, whoa,
match?
hold on, Pepper. Let me get my shit in. You said that you could. Let me get my shit in, Pepper.
Get your shit out then, shit.
If you on the football field and your foot hurt, are you gonna show your opponents that your foot hurt, or you gonna go out there and run like you all right?
But
He's
after
talking about the whole point of the whole thing of the match is Ember going after her shoulder. After she won, she's in a video literally about 5 minutes later, and the show
Pepper,
she's wailing her camera.
We're talking about this making sense, right? Let it make sense. If we're talking about this making sense, let it make sense. If your arm is hurting and you're getting ready to fight somebody,
You're not getting ready to fight. You've already fought.
Would you want people to know that your arm is hurt?
Did you watch the match?
You gotta
Tony,
go back out there in 2
Did
nights.
you watch the match, Tony?
Let me jump in here real quick. So he's saying the whole thing with the selling thing. What he said is 100%.
What is selling?
Like, you know, when you
Kyle, your
when
mic's
you're in a fight, dude.
yeah.
That's the last thing I want to do is let you know that you hurt me, because then what's the first thing I'm gonna do? Obviously, go after the arm.
Did they
So
watch the match?
Exactly.
But I'm saying, like, the whole...
Thank you,
Okay,
Sugar Salty.
okay, wait. So the whole match was based on her arm being hurt during the match, right? To the point where she had to break a choke because Ember Moon pulled her arm and she couldn't hold it anymore.
She had to do a Lethal Weapon 2 Mel Gibson pop her shoulder
Exactly.
during the match.
Matter of fact, and I was going to bring this
Okay.
up. It was a great detail in this match. I don't know if everybody caught this, but when she choked Ember Moon out, she couldn't use her arm. So she literally had to choke in and grabbed her own hair to hold the choke in there. So basically,
I said that.
right. But I'm saying, if you're saying in this match that she wasn't able to use her left arm, and then after the match in the interview, you're just flailing the arm around like there's nothing wrong with it, where's the continuity in that?
First of all, it's called adrenaline. Second of all, like I said, if we're going to talk about things making sense as far as athleticism and physical fighting, storytelling wise, let's look at Marvin Hagler versus the great hitman Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns broke his fist in the first minute of that fight. Could you tell at any part of that fight, or even after the fight, could you tell that he had broke his hand?
But wait. But was a part of the storyline of that match the fact that he couldn't use his arm?
I'm asking a question.
Let's move on because you're obviously not getting the point. Let's just move on to the next fucking match.
No,
What's the
getting
next
point.
match?
I'm just making you look silly, Pepper. So
You're not because you're missing the whole point of it. We're talking about
but Tony,
after the match.
But Tony, but then at the same time, you're
I'm
talking about
after
you're
that
talking
part,
about two
after
different
the
things.
Marvin Hagler and Hitman
We're
fight,
not talking
and
about
Hitman
something that happened
fell
20
his
years
fist.
ago. We're talking about what happened this weekend on NXT. Let's stay on topic, not go on tangents, not go on stories, not ramble. We're talking about what happened
No, we're
after the
we're
match.
talking about making sense, right? We're talking about making sense, Pepper. First of all, you don't do this, Pepper, so you don't understand.
I'm not
all right?
talking about me.
Let me-
Look, we're not getting into. Yes, you're a wrestler. We're not getting into that shit. We're talking about continuity in what happened in the match, the storytelling of the match. You're going off topic,
Okay.
Ram. We're not talking about what happened
are you
in
talking
it.
about it? See, here's the thing, Pepper. You're complaining that she didn't sell her arm, and I'm giving you reason after reason after reason why she didn't, and you don't want to accept
You're
it.
talking about. You're
You
not
just
talking
wanna
about.
stay
You're talking about what happened
complaining
in the
about it.
match.
You
We're
just
talking
wanna
about
stay
after.
complaining about it because you're one of those fans who love to complain.
Just
So,
because you wrestle doesn't mean you can talk about every
Alexa
fan.
Bliss-
We're not
Alexa
getting
Bliss will
into
be
that
champ
shit
again,
right
and
now,
you can
Tony.
be mad about that again, all right?
Whatever, dog. Let's move on to the next subject because this shit is just. We're rambling. We're
Hey,
wasting
but one
air.
more thing I want to add about that match,
This nigga's
man.
gonna-
Obviously, I said
Go-
I liked it and all that stuff, but the thing that was crazy is, I mean, not that I expected much different, but dude, that crowd, like, I would say a good 75% of that crowd was, like, legit pissed, which was cool to see somebody actually that's a heel get some heat, because that crowd was pissed that Ember Moon lost. Like, everybody around me was like, well, just pissed off, like, what the fuck, why'd she lose, and da-da-da-da. You know,
We all knew
I
she was getting
like-
caught up, and I just want to say that the word of the day is continuity, for those who are wondering.
All right, next match. We have the tag team championship match and the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. We had the Undisputed Era with Adam Cole,
Baby.
and Kyle O'Reilly,
I was waiting for it, Pepper.
the Authors of Pain, and Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. Mr. Campbell, why don't we start off with you, man? What are your thoughts on this match, man?
Watching where all of them come from, watching Undisputed Era first come in, watching AOP first come in, to see where they are now, it really does show what great booking can do. Because I honestly, like I said, when we did the predictions, when we did the predictions, I didn't know who to pick because I'm like, I can see any of these guys winning this. So that's what you need going into a match where it's like we've always said it lately. WWE kind of gets boring. We know who's gonna win.
Right.
That was probably one of the probably the match on NXT where I really did not feel comfortable. Other than even the ladder match, I'm like, I can honestly see it going to either one guy. That's why it was hard to make a pick. But that was a hard hitting, good match. I mean, their tag team matches are the best in WWE. I mean, Usos and New Day, it's all right. The Bar, good. But every NXT takeover, their tag team match is pretty much, if not the match of the night, it's the second best match of the night.
Mr. Collison.
For me, man, like I said, with that match, I was really interested to see what they were going to do with the whole Roddy and Heat Dunn element. But I thought the match itself was great. And I have to say that when they did the flips and Roddy, flipped on him, holy shit, that crowd went fucking insane. Because I will be the first to admit, I didn't see that coming at all. And that's why I liked it so much. Because as we've talked about how many times, you never know, you always, a lot of us feel like we can see what's coming. I didn't see that shit coming. And when he pulled the wristband down, it was like, no shit. And I really thought that, there was a chance that AOP might win, but, because I didn't think that they'd let Adam Cole win both matches and with Bobby Fish being out. But again, like Kyle was saying, I thought this whole show was great from start to finish, but that crowd was fucking insane when Roddy flipped.
All right, Mr. Thunder.
I have to agree with Kyle and Sugar Salty on this one. And I'm going to just say, if you said you've seen that come in, you a liar and you don't love Jesus, all right? Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. And speaking of not seeing things coming, I just want to shout out the WWE for shitting on all of the dirt sheets this year with WrestleMania. Every single thing that the dirt sheet said this year was far the fuck off. Nothing could be more wrong. Oh, Hulk Hogan's going to be the new GM. Oh, Jeff Jarrett's going to be the new GM. Oh, Undertaker's not responding because he's going to come back as the biker. Undertaker's going to come back as the biker. Kid Rock is only getting inducted because Undertaker's going to be the biker. All that shit was false. Wrong as fuck, and I couldn't love it even more because the fans who read the dirt sheets, they walk around here with their chest puffed out like they know everything about wrestling, and they use insider terms like spots and booking, and shots fired at y'all. But no, man, back to the match. I think it was a great match. I think all in all, it was a great performance by everybody. And I don't think anybody saw that coming at all. And I think that's what makes wrestling captivating is surprises.
Wait, I didn't see this one coming, but I did see the Undisputed Era winning this match because I was the only one that got it. Bam.
You did?
Yes, sir.
4-1.
Yes,
he was 4-1 that night. Why don't you brag about that a little bit, man? You were 4-1. This is the first card you blew everybody out of the waters.
That's not true. But let me just say this, and this might be a little bit of a controversial statement, but I felt like this match was kind of discombobulated at times. Like, I didn't know if this was a tag match, if this was like a triple threat tag or what. I didn't know if
there was a lot going on.
I didn't know if it was a tornado match. So, like, towards the end is when things kind of came together. But, like, throughout most of the match, I was kind of confused about what rules were going on, and even to the point where the announcers were even saying the same thing. But on this card, if I had to pick a match which was the worst match on the card, I would say this one. But
really,
if we're gonna rank these matches as 5-star, 4-star, whatever, this was still like a 4-star match. So for this to be the worst
Better
match
than
on
the tag matches on the main on WrestleMania.
True. The Meltzer over here.
But I'm just saying, like, for this to be the worst match on this card, lets you know how great this card really was. But
Well, let me just say this. 'Cause I don't think a lot of
gotta
people
make it quick because we got to move on.
NXT and the style of wrestling in NXT is not the same as the style of wrestling when you get called up. So
Right.
when everybody say, "Oh my God, NXT killed the WWE," and "Oh my God, NXT, WrestleMania can't compare to Takeover," or "The WWE pay-per-view can't compare to the NXT pay-per-view," two completely different styles.
I agree.
Just like you watch indie wrestling, you saw, AJ Styles, he kills it in the indies, and you get to WWE, and you're looking for that indie match, and it's not the same. Like, if you love and respect the style of wrestling that the WWE is, you start to realize that it's the peak and the best and has the most viewers for a reason. That's all.
I agree with you, but I just know for me as a fan, I enjoy the NXT style more than the WWE style. That's just me personally. So that's why most of the time when I say I love the NXT more than the WrestleMania, it's because I enjoy that style more than the WWE style. But next match.
I like the style better, but comparing the matches is kind of not. That's like saying, I like this Lucha match because it's better than this New Japan match. It's not the same story.
I mean, but if that's your preference, yeah, you're gonna say it's better. That's all I'm saying.
But you're comparing two different art forms.
Right. But I'm just saying, if you like one art form more than the other, then
that's
of course
like
you're gonna
comparing
pick
country to hip hop. Music is music, but if you compare country to hip hop, you're gonna have a hard time.
Right. But as I'm saying, if you like hip hop more than country, of course you're gonna pick the rap song.
I heard a good comparison.
Who compare rap to country?
You literally just said that. All right, next match. We have Andrade Cien Almas defending his title against Aleister Black.
Pepper a little salty right now. Are you gonna be the new salty Pepper, or do we got sugar salty on
Tony,
the line?
Hey, Tony.
Why salty?
Tony. Hey, Tony. Hey, Tony.
That's
No,
me.
he's trying to refer to me. He's trying to refer to me.
Wait, Tony. He literally didn't say anything in that whole time. That was all me.
Okay, you sound like Pepper for me.
All right, next match.
I guess that means I sound tall.
My quintessential thought was that you were talking smack.
Quintessential asshole. I guess that means I sound like I'm a foot taller than. I'll take that. I'll take that. So I've never heard that. I've heard I sound white, but I've never heard I sound tall. So I'll take that.
Our next match was Aleister Black against Andrade Cien Almas. We'll start with. You know what? I'm gonna start this one. I feel like this was probably one of the more predictable matches on this card because I think a lot of people thought that a lot of people knew Aleister Black was going to win this match. But the great thing about this was the story in it because, all right, if it's predictable, how you get there is going to prove whether it's a good match to me or not.
I agree.
And the fact that they told a great story with Zelina Vegas, continuously interfering in the match.
That was some of the best manager interfering in a match I've seen in a long time because I'm watching. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, the way she's done, I'm like, you could have used Lana like that.
Right.
I'm like you have managers. I'm like, the way that the exact spots she was doing, the exact way she was just flailing around, showing her emotion. I'm like, that's how you have a manager outside the ring.
And then for it to backfire and then cost him the title at the end, I felt like perfect ending to that match. Perfect. Mr. Campbell?
I agree. I agree. Like I said, I think that was a great way to have her involved in the match because even if you have a manager by the ringside, you have some that just sit there and watch the match, don't add anything. You have some that kind of try to steal the spotlight, they overdo it a little bit. The way she did it for the match that was absolutely perfect. She had perfect timing. She didn't just do the same thing over and over again. She varied it up. I really think she added to the emotion of that match, which, like I said, I didn't see Andrade winning. So I'm like, the way that they had her involved in the finish.
You did pick him to win, though.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did think they were predictable. Well, fuck everything I just said, but still it was a good match. See, WWE swerved me.
All right, Kyle.
Well, I was trying to make a point to what you motherfuckers were talking about earlier, but you had to be at Smash Holes. But anyways, I totally agree with the manager work by Zelina Vega. I really would like to see WWE incorporate the manager more because, in my opinion, as far as who they have as quote-unquote managers, which really the only two that I can really think of if you're talking about any are maybe her and Lana, because I don't think you really count Aiden English, I guess, with Rusev. So I like seeing her get involved in the way how she tries to do the underhanded tactics, and how, like, at the one point during the match, you could see, like, Almas try to, like, distract the ref and then kind of wave her over to go try to attack Aleister Black. I really like that. I had to say I've been a big fan of Andrade's work over the last 6 months too, man. Like, just the way that he has flipped his game, from start to finish. And ironically, isn't it ironic that a year ago, Black made his debut against Almas, and a year later they're fighting for the title. So I think that's a testament to both of them, and I just thought the match was badass from start to finish. So, and the crowd was definitely hyped through the whole match for it too. So,
all right, Mr. Thunder.
I don't think we're going to get to WrestleMania.
We'll get there.
No, honestly, man, I think what fans really like, or what fans really like about matches, I think, is things that kind of turn me away from matches. I don't think it was too much involvement on her part. And in my opinion, there were two. I'm not going to use the insider terms because I don't want to hear y'all saying it, but I'm going to use a different term. There were too many, and I don't have a problem with y'all using certain, phrases or whatever, but back to what I was saying. I think there were too many, what's the word I want to use? Cliffhangers. There were too many cliffhangers, where it's like 1, 2, that was too close. I think there were too many of those to where, like, it got to the point where it's just like, all right, come the fuck on. Like, after Aleister kicked out of, like, the first 2, I was like, okay, it's obvious he's winning. Then he kicked out of, like, 3 or 4 more. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting on Aleister to obviously get the win. Where is it? Then he kicked out of, like, 2 or 3 more, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And, like, people were going crazy about it. They were loving it. But to me, it just took away from the story. It killed the story. And at the end of the day, with Cien not being called up, it kind of made him look like shit.
Okay, well,
like, there wasn't enough that could take out Aleister Black, and he did everything in the book to take him out. So now it's like, what can he do to beat Aleister? And if he does his finisher to beat Aleister, it's like, well, that didn't work before, so why is it working now, type of thing.
Well, Tony, I'm gonna stay with you, man. Transitioning to the last match on NXT, and we need to kind of make this quick. Gargano versus Ciampa. What did you feel about that match?
I think that was good storytelling, man. But again, it was just one of those too many cliffhanger things. The story was beautiful. The story was like off the charts, off the rock. They did a great thing. I would have been pissed up. I would have been really pissed off if Gargano won that match to get reinstated into NXT to get called up. That would have really pissed me the fuck off. But since it looks like he's going to be staying on NXT for a while, I'm curious to see where they goes with this.
All right, Mr. Collison.
I loved it. I love the fact that, like, the little things they threw in, like pulling up the floor, and that they really showed, the part of the story trying to play it off like they, like they legit hated each other, like they said in the story. Like they were really fighting it out, and that was a little refreshing to see. And I love the finish of the match because I liked that he incorporated, the knee brace with how Ciampa had been, like, limping out there for how long with the knee brace. And obviously he's used the crutches on Johnny how many times, when they broke the first crutch and then he left that other one over there, I was like, man, I hope they use that. And then for him to finish him off that way, I thought it was dope. I liked it from start to finish. And Tony and I talked about this Sunday. I was a little bit surprised when they had the refs come out in all black, though. I don't know if that's going to be how all the referees are about to be, but
I think that was like a small detail of the match because it was an unsanctioned match that they had to have him in a different uniform. So because he's not,
I think that was the debut of the new ref attire, but that's just my prediction on that.
Okay,
I wouldn't mind that.
Mr. Campbell.
We're all fans of wrestling. All been fans since we were kids. We all have friends that probably say
except me.
You need to get into this shit, man. This shit's a lifestyle. But we all friends that kind of probably said something smart like, "Oh, you still into wrestling?" If you know somebody that's not a fan of wrestling, you kind of want to get them into it. You show them their whole story. You show them clips from their matches, highlights.
CWC.
You show them all that
DIY.
and bring that here. This is why I love wrestling. That storytelling. It's not just about them being in the ring, hitting, flipping. It's about the storytelling. And that story that they had coming in, to me, that was the match if I didn't see any other match at NXT, that was the match I was going to watch. And the finish to that match where he just puts the brace over him to choke him, I literally got up and started clapping. I'm like, that is how that is the perfect finish to this storyline, if that's where they get. But I don't see them going further with this. It will just dilute it. But that to me was probably my favorite match of this entire card and the entire weekend. The entire weekend, both shows, that was my favorite match.
Cool. All right, guys, we're gonna jump into WrestleMania. Basically, I agree with everything you guys said, so I'll just move on.
Copycat.
All right, so here's what I want everybody to do. Other than the two main championship matches, the WWE and the Universal Championship match, I want everybody to pick a match that they want to talk about, okay? I'll go first while y'all guys think about this. The match I want to talk about is Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss.
Good choice.
All right. I felt like this was a very predictable match. I think everybody thought that Nia Jax was going to win this match. The one thing I liked about it was the fact that she eliminated her partner, Mickie James, from the get-go. So she was like, okay, this is going to be you and me one-on-one in this match. And I felt like they did a good job, and I felt like if WWE did not put that belt on Nia Jax, they are the biggest assholes in the world, because they have the anti-bullying program. This whole storyline was built around bullying.
Can I finish? I'll interject when you get a sec.
And it was all built around bullying, and they did not let Nia walk away with that belt. I'm like, you are the biggest bunch of assholes, period. So the right person won. I'm happy to see Nia Jax walk away with the belt.
Black Girl Magic.
She's not black. She's Samoan and German.
Yeah, she still get called the N-word.
Brown Girl Magic.
She's black in America.
Brown Girl Magic. But I'm very happy to see her win the belt. She's one of my favorite. I'm glad that she, it was weird seeing her like in NXT and to see her, mature, and like you could kind of tell that she might have came up a little bit too soon, but over the years you've seen her mature and become a much better wrestler. And I like the character that they're putting her in now. So
she looks better when she smiles.
She's really hot.
She looks better when she smiles. She looks better as a babyface to me. When she smiles, it just lights up the ring. When she frowns, it's like it's good.
She's stunningly beautiful too.
Oh goodness! But does it piss anybody else off? The whole thing with, like you said, about the anti-bullying. I'm like, wasn't this like just a couple years ago they were calling you Piggy James, and now you trying to talk about somebody?
Oh, and Alexa Bliss has an eating disorder too, so that's great.
Yeah, I'm like this. Like, we watch Total Divas, so we know what you've been through. It just got me like, that's the storyline you're gonna go through with this. Like, all right.
Any quick thoughts, guys, or you guys want to pick your match? Tony, Kyle,
did they hang up?
I guess I'll go with. Go ahead.
My bad. But for me, man, I'm happy to see Nia win. I really felt like she should have the title for a while. I like the way they played it off. The only thing that pissed me off with that match more so didn't have to do with the match, but I hate when, like, a lot of the fans in the arena, I don't know if you guys can see this on TV, but a lot of the fans in the arena were like, oh, fuck it, I don't even care about this match. So a lot of people weren't even, they were all getting up to give a fuck. But to me, man, I like the way that they finally are letting Nia, at least if they keep doing like they did in that match, they made her look like a killer of sorts. Like the way she went in and took Mickie James out before the match even started, and then the finish of the match with the giant Samoan drop or whatever. I just think, to me, I think the best way for them to do something with Nia Jax, in my opinion, is
we gotta go on, brother.
Kyle,
we gotta go on, brother.
Kyle, go ahead and talk about your match that you want to talk about, other than the two main championships. I think I know this is going to be.
If it is, I'm gonna be shocked.
You talking about just my favorite match on the whole card? Is that what you?
Just a match.
Pick a match to talk about.
A match that you have to talk about, other than the WWE and the Universal Championship matches.
Jesus Christ! I already knew this was coming. You're talking about the Ronda Rousey match, I'm assuming.
Is that the match you want to talk about?
I'd want to talk about that match because I want to say that I thought that shit came off way better than I thought it would. Even me being a fan of Rousey, I really didn't know how she was going to do with that. In my opinion, I thought she did really well, and the atmosphere with that was fucking crazy. I liked the match. Thought it was great. I thought it played off the way it should, and I like the fact that they kind of, had Triple H kind of square off with her and all that kind of shit too. And I love that they kept playing with the Roddy Piper thing. As I've said before, I thought it was cool. So I liked how that match came off, and I thought Kurt looked good as well. So
okay, any quick thoughts, guys?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I'll say this: in the last, say, about year and a half, one thing that has surprised me about WWE, they're getting really, really, really good at making big match feels. That match felt like the Goldberg-Lesnar stuff last year to me, to where it just had, just watching it, had electricity just going through it. Like, I couldn't wait to see it. Like, the Goldberg-Brock stuff last year, it felt like a heavyweight bout. Like, it just had that right before the bell rings. It just had that energy, and that match to me just had great energy. Maybe it's because I didn't expect her to be as good as she was, but it just had a great feel to it to me.
Okay, Mr. Thunder, why don't you go ahead and let us know what your match is that you got to talk about?
Man, I don't want to talk about. I'm gonna tell you what match I don't want to talk about. It's the greatest wrestler of all time, John Cena versus Undertaker. But I'll tell you which match I will talk about. I will talk about the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh,
now, as good as it was, it was a great show opener. I think it really got the crowd ready and excited for what was ready to happen with the show that was WrestleMania. I will say this. I'm kind of pissed off, and it really upset me that Finn Balor did not come out as the Demon.
Amen.
I mean, he came out.
Yeah.
He came out with the Rainbow Coalition, and in my opinion, with the whole rainbow thing he had going on, he should have came out to "I'm Every Woman" or "I'm Coming Out" or something like that. That would have been cool or whatever. You know what I mean? If they're doing, wait a minute. If they're doing a gay gimmick with Finn Balor, that would upset me only because he's not gay in real life. There's so many homosexual professional wrestlers out there that would love to come to the WWE and express who they truly are for the benefit of the LGBT community.
God,
and that would be fucking beautiful. But to have someone play a gay guy,
and it's out of nowhere.
It's kind of disrespectful. It's kind of disrespectful to all the other gay wrestlers out there that would love to take that spot.
And it's kind of out of nowhere, too, because it just happened the last, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks he just started doing the stuff with the rainbow shirt and everything, so it's just really out of left field.
Right.
Yeah. And, from what the fans are saying, dirt sheets are saying, because I don't read the dirt sheets personally, I just go from what the fans say the dirt sheets are saying. The dirt sheets are saying that Stephanie wants him to be gay, but Triple H doesn't think it's a good idea, probably for the same reasons I'm saying, because he's married to a woman in real life, and that gay gimmick should go to someone who really is gay. There's a lot of gay wrestlers out there who would love to take that place, who would love that opportunity, and would really get it over. But as far as the match goes, it was a great match. I like that Seth came out with the whole "a winter is coming" type of idea. His gear kind of matched that. His contacts kind of matched that. And I'd love to see him win the title. I was happy that he actually won.
There's a good insider joke to the whole Game of Thrones thing. Me and Devin are laughing at. But should I tell the story, or we don't got
no time? But Tony, hey man, I'm surprised you picked that one, man. And I agree with you 100%, man. Mr. Campbell, your match.
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and deuce. I'm gonna talk about match. I forgot. I'll talk about the Charlotte Asuka match. I was shocked to shit that they gave up her streak right there.
And she tapped out.
To end the tap out with it, I'm like, you've never been pinned, submitted, and your first loss is tapping. I say that to me was probably my second best match the whole weekend. The way and then the finish to it, to have Charlotte, who sold the shoulder the whole time, doing the figure 8 on one hand.
Yep.
It was good. Asuka, I was actually surprised that they didn't do the heel turn with her right there. I know we'll get into what happened later with the championship match, but I was expecting that from her. I expected it to be the other way around. I didn't expect Shinsuke to do it. I expected Asuka to do it. And when she didn't, I gave them I actually, I'm like, you know what? That didn't need to happen at that moment right there, because that's probably the greatest female match in the history of WrestleMania, at least. I cannot think of another women's match that was that good.
He said he thinks that was the best female match at WrestleMania. All right.
What did he say?
He said he thinks that's probably the best WrestleMania female match ever.
Can you play back my comments? I'm joking.
No.
But all right, let's go ahead and jump into these 2 championship matches. We'll start off with AJ versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
AJ Styles.
Everybody, we're gonna go ahead and give our quick thoughts on that, and then we'll give our quick thoughts about the main event, and then we'll get up out of here. Mr. Thunder, I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts were about Shinsuke versus AJ Styles.
Oh man, I can honestly say that watching. Well, here's what I want to say about it. And Devin, I think I called you out for this. As much as all the fans and everybody who are at Bailey's are people who are usually part of the Reality Era News group. If you're not there, go and watch it. And while you're on Facebook, go to facebook.com/RatPack. Like that page right quick. But Reality Era News is where we all talk wrestling and, talk things about you may have missed on the podcast or whatnot. And everybody in this group was busting their nuts over this match. Oh my God, AJ Nakamura, I can't wait. This is a dream match. I'm gonna make love to this match when my mom isn't watching and I'm beating my meat in the basement. Like, everybody was busting their nuts for this match. Couldn't wait for it to happen. They loved it. Oh my God, I can't wait. This is gonna be the best thing ever. And while that match was going on, everybody in Bailey's were on their phones, talking to the people next to them. They were conversing with other people, ordering shit, just paying absolutely no attention to the match, which to me was the most disrespectful thing of the night. Nobody paid attention to that instant classic. It was wrestling at its finest. They chain wrestled, they high flew, they hit hard. Everything that you could ask for in the match pretty much happened in that match, and it seems as if nobody cared. Like, nobody was really paying that much attention. It wasn't that, oh, this is wrestling. I was looking for all of that with the crowd, and it seemed as if the crowd just didn't care. So that really, really, really upset me.
Hey,
Tony, it was a classic.
Tony, real quick, I'm tell you why. So me and Will was playing a drinking game, and by that time I was drunk as fuck.
No excuses. Everybody got a goddamn excuse. I don't want to hear no excuse.
Hey, I went back and watched the match the next day though, so it definitely was a classic. But
I wasn't with a hangover.
I was good at that point.
I don't want to hear your excuse, man. It's just an excuse.
Hey.
It's just an excuse. I called you out at Bailey's. I said, Devin, why you not pay attention? Oh, I'm going to just watch it when I get home. No excuse. You did not pay attention to it.
I was drunk, sir.
You did not care in the moment.
I was drunk, sir. But go ahead, man. Go ahead, finish.
You did not care in the moment. At the end of the day, man, the match really reminded me of Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 19 as far as the story being told. Not so much as the I wanted to be you, but now I'm being me, but more of a I wanted to wrestle you, but now it's all about me. And with Nakamura turning on Styles at the end, I think that was really like the nail in the coffin, or the big
swerve
fireworks to end the story. And I think it shouldn't have ended in a better way.
Good comparison, man. Mr. Campbell, your thoughts quickly.
It was one of the ones I was looking forward to. Having seen what those two can do in the ring together at, was it Wrestle Kingdom 11?
Yeah, sounds right.
It was, if you hadn't seen that, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself if you were a real fan and watch that match. Having seen that, I'm like, I think they held a little back.
Think so?
I've seen better out of both of them. Like I think, and I'm not mad at that because this doesn't just need to be, even though they kept referring to it as the dream match, you can still have them go against each other at SummerSlam and that be
Money in the Bank would be great.
Oh yeah. You know, so I'm like, seeing that, I'm like, that was good, but I know you two can do better, and I think that's what they're saving it for.
All right, Mr. Collison, I want to get your reaction to this because you were there, and I want to hear about what the crowd reaction was too, and your reaction to the match.
I enjoyed the hell out of the match. I was more excited for this one than most of the other matches, as probably expected. I liked the match itself. The crowd was pretty much into it. Unfortunately, as we talked about while we were on a break, there was some fucking asshole that was sitting behind me because I was right where that shit happened that did something. I don't know if they got in a fight or did something and they threw him out, and everybody in the crowd turned around to look at him.
It was distracting.
Again, some fans were fucking it up, but in my opinion, I liked it, and I have to say, I really didn't see Shinsuke turning on AJ, but I liked it. And shout out to Steve, because by the time I got back to my hotel, I had him hit me up. Man, did you tell Shinsuke to use your finishing move?
Instead of kicking him in the dick, he punched him in the dick.
His own variation of it.
I said, yeah. I said, yeah. So I told him, and he just figured, what the hell, I'll use it anyways. But yeah, dude, I liked it because I didn't see him turning. I thought it was a great match, and I really hope that by him doing that, man, that's just the start of them two going at it for a good long while. Because I liked it. I thought Shinsuke's entrance with Nita Strauss was fucking dope too.
That was dope.
And only thing I'll say about the match is I like the turn at the end, and I'm hoping that we actually get to see more actual strong style now from Shinsuke. Now that he's going to be a bad guy, so that's like the only thing I'll say.
Oh man, I'm not gonna comment on what happened on SmackDown tonight, but
not yet.
His promo was dope. That's all I'm gonna say. His promo was on point tonight.
All right,
it was
Mr. Collison, we'll go to you since this is the main event. Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar.
Meh.
Your thoughts, and give us a little bit of what the crowd reaction was.
I think it wouldn't have mattered if this shit was a 5-star match. That crowd would have booted the fuck out the building because nobody there seemed to care about it. And they were all more worried about the beach balls that were in the fucking crowd. Me personally, man, you know, Tony talks about this all the time, and obviously I'm a fan, so I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I know or anything of the sort. But one thing that pisses me off more than anything when you're at any sort of wrestling match, we're all allowed to have our opinion. That's what makes wrestling great. But at the end of the day, if it's MMA, that's one thing, because I can say I've done that. But wrestling, I've never done it before. I've never had a pro wrestling match, never done any of that shit. I've got my opinions, I've got all that kind of shit. But dude, like, there were people that were there in the crowd that were like, "Oh man, this fucking sucks." And dude, if you hate it, then literally bitch the whole match. It's like, dude, if you hate it that bad, then just fucking go. Like, but to me, man, I thought that it was a good visual with, you know, Roman getting cut and all that stuff. So I wasn't mad at the match. I honestly was surprised Brock won because I thought Roman was going to win, but obviously now we know he re-signed.
Everybody thought Roman was going to win.
See where they go with it.
All right, Mr. Campbell, your thoughts.
You know, as somebody that's not I wouldn't say huge. I'm not a huge fan of Brock. I'm a fan of Brock. Well documented. If you listen to our old stuff, not a fan of Roman, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think there was any good way to end that match, because if Roman wins, everybody's, oh, here we go. They finally crowned their golden boy. Here we go on his thing. They're gonna push him even further now. And if Brock wins, okay, now we're not gonna see the title on TV anymore. Brock's a lazy champion. He's not a great draw like that. I want to see the title. There was no good way to end that match, because somebody had to walk away with the title. Seth Rollins ain't waiting in the wings with another Money in the Bank contract. Right. So there was no great way to end that, to send everybody home happy. If you try to please everybody all the time, you're not gonna please anybody any of the time. But that match to me was just it was meh.
Just meh?
It was meh. It was meh. It was like, all right, and when he won, I'm like, all right. And I'm like, okay, now it's going to be possibly basically more of the same. So it didn't solve anything.
I agree. And they got the rematch coming.
I absolutely 100% disagree with Kyle as usual. I'm going to just go out and say this, man. As far as Brock Lesnar in the WWE, his style of wrestling, no matter who he goes, well, besides his recent match with AJ Styles, was just pretty lengthy. Brock's matches are usually wham, bam, he's done, or wham, bam, he kills his opponent. And this match was a great display of power versus power. It's kind of like this guy will kill you versus this guy will kill you. It was Suplex City versus Super Punch City and Superman Punch City. And you know, it really got to the point where they told a great story of that, you know, of the top guy versus top guy, you know, Beast versus Beast, or who's next to be Beast. And they told a great story of WrestleMania being the place where both guys defeated The Undertaker. And it took 3 F5s to take down The Undertaker. And when Roman kicked out of that fourth one, it was like, oh, shit, Roman's going to do it. Then Brock just beasted it out, heart rate him, had him bloody. And then that last one was just the nail in the coffin. Boom. I think it was a great story being told. I think both guys did a great job out there. And, of course, people are going to hate. People are going to talk shit. But anything dealing with Roman, people are going to hate and talk shit about. Anything dealing with any guy who is supposed to be the next face of the company, guys are just going to talk shit and hate about. Whether it's Hulk Hogan, John Cena, or anybody that's not in the Attitude Era who's the face of the company, guys are going to hate for the rest of the WWE's existence. So Roman just happened to be on a bad end right now of that. He can't catch a break, and I don't understand why he's hated so much. And every time I ask a hater why they hate him, they never really have an answer. It's just kind of like, well, I'm going to say it like this. There was one person, and I don't know who it is. I want to shout you out, but you're in the Reality Era news group. I asked you why you hated Roman, and you said, honestly, man, it's just a cool thing to hate him right now. And that's the realest fucking answer I've ever heard of why anybody don't like Roman. It's just a cool thing to do right now, to not to like him. It's just cool to do. So with that being said, Roman's going to have a tough time with his career until he turns heel. And he's healed. Now we can like him. Make him heel so we'll have a reason to like him, like all y'all smarks want. So until he turns heel, he's going to have a tough time if he turns heel.
Right.
So I think it was a great match. I think they both told a great story. And Roman's just going to have a tough time for the rest of wrestling until he retires. He's going to be that Cena guy that no matter how hard he gets his ass beat, no matter if he bleeds for the fans and get hard elbows to his fucking face, no matter what he does in that ring, people are going to hate him and never give him his true respect or credit that he deserves no matter what he does. So
hey, Tony.
I don't like that. I hate that shit. So before I go on a longer rant about it, I'm done.
Hey, Tony.
That's me.
Buckle up, man. I thought this was a great match, man. I thought this was a great match. But look, here's the thing, and I agree with Kyle. I agree with you in basically there was no way to please everybody in this match. You were gonna be pissed off regardless. So I just kind of just sat back and watched, man, and like it was a great match. And I think one of the things that made it that much better for me was a physical match. And I'm going to go ahead and use the insider term for Brock the hard way Roman Reigns. I thought, oh my God, I didn't know they were allowed to use color anymore. And like that crimson mask, man, it made me think back to Stone Cold versus Bret Hart. And it's like he got him good. He knows what he's doing. He's an MMA fighter. He knows how to cut somebody open with his elbow. And like, man, I know it's not the safe thing to do, but I missed that. And for them to bring it out in this match, it does add added to the visual of it.
It does add. That's, I mean, some people do it too much, Ric Flair. But but it does add to certain matches. You don't want to do it every match.
True.
But it does add to certain matches where you see the guy get up and you just start seeing it trickling down his face, like, oh shit.
And but basically the story of, look, no matter how many times you F5 me or you suplex me, I'm going to keep coming at you. And then he just couldn't. His body just couldn't go anymore. Great story, I thought. So I give Roman.
Devin, I'm proud of you, man.
Hey, wait. Hey, Tony, I got another one for you, man.
What's that?
Shout out to John Cena for losing in 3 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
I mean that night. Shout out to him because Hey,
why you shouting out Cena for that?
Hey, look, it's not a lot of people that
Has he not lost enough?
Wait.
How much does Cena have to lose?
Wait, Tony.
It's like everybody, Cena wins
Tony.
too much. Now where's the last time he's won?
Tony, sit back. Let me finish, man. For him to humble himself enough to lose basically a squash match to a legend like that, lets you know at WrestleMania, lets you know how great John Cena is.
I think that's the way they write him out for a while too.
So there you go. That's all I got to say.
No, he's got Triple H at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he does. But all right, Randy's tired. He wants to go get more drink.
I'm tired.
Triple H has been the guy that's been said to have a golden shovel, and he loves to. Wait, let me say this one thing.
Real quick. You got to make it quick.
Real quick. Triple H is said to be the guy with the golden shovel that buries everybody, and he's put over more people than I could name in the last 10 years.
He has the worst
John
WrestleMania
Cena's
record of anybody.
That's said to bury everybody. He's been putting over more people than I could name in the last 5 years. Hasn't won a match since I could remember. That match with Triple H versus John Cena at the Greatest Royal Rumble, as they're calling it, is going to be a story to tell.
All right, we'll talk about that another time. So, everybody, let's go ahead and give our social media so we can get the fuck out of here. Let's start off with you, Mr. Thunder.
How about you just find everybody's social media on ko3cpod.com? There's links and everything.
Great.
You know what? Good job. But we do got to plug the show this weekend. Mr. Collison, why don't you go ahead and get those details out?
If you guys want to see somebody get their ass whooped, come out to Burton Manor, Livonia, Michigan this Saturday. I believe the fight started at 6. You can get tickets from any one of the fighters. I highly suggest trying to get them before tomorrow's over, because most of them are probably going to start their weight cut. But it's going to be a great night of fights. There's probably going to be about 20 fights on the card. I know for sure Devin and I will be in the building. We'll be doing a live podcast, probably a little bit before the show, a little bit at the intermission, and a little bit at the end. Shout out to Joe Battaglia for having us. Shout out to Marco Manib and both the Hodgebees brothers. And hopefully they don't riot. So hopefully Adrian gets his W. So come out and have some fun this week.
I might be able to actually jump in on that.
Sweet.
I'll be near the exit. I'll be near the exit.
It's your birthday. I don't care what holiday it is. I'm cutting off Pepper Cow because I got to get my shit in before we turn it off. This Saturday in Toledo, Ohio, Northwest Ohio Wrestling. Facebook.com/419 Wrestling. If my elbows are better, I'm going to elbow the fuck out of everybody in attendance. Come out there and get your elbow from Tony Thunder.
Get you a car, SouthfieldQualityCars.com. Use the reference code 19309. That's 19309. Anybody else?
I don't have any codes. I don't have any promo codes.
Are we good? All right, with all that being said, that's been the WrestleMania review show. We'll catch you guys next week. Make sure you check us out this Saturday.
Shout out to Pepper Cow for joining Devin in the building. Devin would have been by himself. Shout out Pepper Cow for making it when we couldn't.
Appreciate that, man.
No problem.
All righty. Randy, hit that music. We out of here.
Drop that beat.
Peace. And fuck your couch. Fuck your